Sure, as you're all aware, this is what poaching looks like in South Africa from a statistical point of view. That story of Thandi and Temba in the early days was in 2012. In that year, we ended up losing 668 animals officially. Unfortunately, that was only half of what we would end up losing when this crisis peaked, and what looks like an improvement in the situation in that total numbers are dropping. Unfortunately, the largest reason for that, in my opinion, is that the total numbers of rhino are dropping, and it's just becoming more and more difficult to actually kill these animals simply because the numbers just aren't there anymore. But I think the bottom line here is that this is a tragedy of extraordinary proportions, very difficult for anyone, be it this country or abroad, to get their heads around what this amount of deaths looks like. You'll see as we approached and went into lockdown, the numbers decreased to 394, and then last year they started going up again to 451. So there was definitely a benefit to lockdown against poaching, but we are seeing a surge, and all around the country from the end of last year to now, we're just hearing horrific stories of how poaching has resurged. There was a week towards the end of last year where I think we lost 26 rhino in a matter of 4 or 5 days. So crazy statistics bouncing back, unfortunately, as the world begins to open up again. I think what is important is just to stress where these rhino have died. So in our country, 98% of them have been poached in the areas that border on Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Mozambique. The statistic in the Eastern Cape is less than 1%. In fact, it's actually 0.01% of that 9,338 official deaths have been poached in our part of the province. How do you get your head around 9,300 dead rhino? I think it's just impossible, and that sort of brutality overload, you could call it, it has made many people numb. There is such a thing as rhino fatigue, and we face an enormous task now trying to keep the momentum going, especially in South Africa, because we've been confronted with this news for 10 years and it just seems to be getting worse and worse.